Did you know that lard, yes, the pig fat you've been told to avoid like the plague, could actually be healthier for you than some vegetable oils? Now before you dismiss this as hogwash, let's take a moment to consider the facts. Subscribe if you like these videos as I expose more of the evils that big food has been pushing for far too long to keep us sick. In our low-fat obsessed world, the idea of using lard in cooking may seem like culinary heresy. The image that comes to mind is probably one of clogged arteries and expanding waistlines, but here's the surprising truth. Lard was once a staple in many kitchens around the world. That's right. Your great-grandparents likely cooked with lard on a regular basis, producing mouth-watering dishes that were both flavorful and nourishing. So how did this rich, creamy fat get such a bad rap? Well, the answer lies in the rise of processed vegetable oils. Since the mid-20th century, we've been told that these oils are the healthier alternative. But while they might be lower in saturated fat, they're also highly processed and often high in omega-6 fatty acids, which when consumed in excess can lead to inflammation and other health issues. Now, let's bust another myth. Lard is not just pure saturated fat. In fact, it's almost 50% monounsaturated fat, the same kind of good fat found in avocados and olive oil. It also contains vitamin D, a nutrient many of us are deficient in, especially during the winter months. But perhaps the most compelling argument for cooking with lard is the taste. It imparts a depth of flavor to dishes that vegetable oils simply can't match. From flaky pie crusts to crispy fried chicken, lard can elevate your cooking to new heights. So, before you turn your nose up at the idea of cooking with lard, consider this. Could it be that the fat we've been taught to shun could actually be a better choice for our health and our taste buds? So, could lard be a misunderstood hero? Let's delve into it. When comparing lard to vegetable oils, it's important to consider their nutritional content. Let's dive right in. Lard, that age-old kitchen staple, has a pretty impressive nutritional resume. It's brimming with monounsaturated fats, the kind that olive oil gets all the glory for. These fats are known for their heart-healthy properties, and they make up about 45% of the fat in lard. Yes, you heard that right. Lard is high on the good fats chart. Now let's turn our attention to vegetable oils. Have you ever wondered what's in that bottle of corn or soybean oil? Well, it's mainly composed of omega-6 fatty acids. Now don't get me wrong, we do need some omega-6 in our diets, but here's the rub. The modern diet is overflowing with them. And that's where the problem lies. Too much omega-6 fatty acids leads to inflammation, which is a root cause of many chronic diseases. Not to mention them being processed with dyes, hexanes and bleaches to keep their golden color. In reality, these cooking oils look like black sludge. You see, our ancestors had a dietary ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 fatty acids that was about 1:1. Today that ratio can be as high as 16:1. That's a whopping imbalance. And guess what's contributing to this skewed ratio? That's right, the overconsumption of vegetable oils. But let's get back to lard. Not only does it have a healthier balance of fatty acids, but it also contains vitamin D, a nutrient that most of us are sorely lacking. And let's not forget about its high smoking point, making it an excellent choice for frying and sautéing. So, let's sum it up. On one hand, we have lard, a natural product with a rich history, packed with monounsaturated fats and vitamin D. On the other hand, we have vegetable oils, a modern invention with a high omega-6 content that's contributing to a dietary imbalance. Lard emerges as a surprisingly healthier option, doesn't it? You might be wondering why a high omega-6 content is a problem. After all, isn't omega-6 a healthy fat? Indeed, omega-6 is a type of polyunsaturated fat that's essential to our bodies. But here's the kicker, it's all about balance. You see, omega-6 and omega-3 fatty acids work together in our bodies like a yin and yang, balancing each other out. Omega-6 promotes inflammation, which is not inherently bad. In fact, inflammation is a crucial part of our body's defense mechanism, helping to protect us from infection and injury. But here's where the trouble starts. Omega-3 fatty acids, the other half of this dynamic duo, are anti-inflammatory. They work to counterbalance the inflammation caused by omega-6. In an ideal world, we should be consuming these two fats in a ratio of about 1:1. But welcome to the not-so-ideal world of our modern diet. It's more like a runaway train on the omega-6 express, with ratios in the average diet estimated to be anywhere from 10:1 to a staggering 20:1 in favor of omega-6. That's a lot of inflammation with not a lot of balance. So, where is all this omega-6 coming from? You guessed it, highly processed vegetable oils like soybean, corn, and sunflower oil. These oils are often used in fast food, processed food, and even in home cooking. The result? an inflammatory state in our bodies that can lead to a host of health problems, from heart disease to autoimmune disorders. And what about lard? Well, lard has a more balanced ratio of omega-6 to omega-3, making it a better choice for those seeking to restore some equilibrium to their diet. It's like choosing to take a leisurely bike ride through the park instead of that runaway train. So while omega-6 is not inherently bad, too much of it, like what you get from vegetable oils, can be problematic. So the next time you're reaching for that bottle of vegetable oil, maybe give lard a second thought. It might just be the healthier choice. Now let's talk about how these oils are made. How does a corn or a soybean turn into a clear golden liquid? You might be picturing a calm pastoral scene, with a farmer lovingly squeezing oil out of a soybean. But folks, I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but it's far from that. The reality of how vegetable oils are made is a little less picturesque and a lot more industrial. The process begins with the extraction of oil from seeds or beans using a solvent, typically hexane. Now if you're thinking, wait, isn't that a chemical used in industrial cleaning? You're right on the money. After the oil has been extracted, it's heated to a high temperature to remove any of the solvent that might still be hanging around. But the process doesn't stop there. Oh no, we're just getting warmed up. Next, the oil undergoes a process known as refining, where it's treated with more chemicals to remove impurities. But hey, who needs impurities when you can have chemicals instead, right? And just when you thought it couldn't get any worse, the oil is then bleached and deodorized. Because nothing says natural and healthy like oil that's been bleached and had its natural smell chemically removed. Now I know what you're thinking, surely there has to be a better, less industrial way to get oil. And my friends, you're correct. Enter our hero of the day, lard. Lard is rendered pork fat. And rendering is just a fancy way of saying that the fat is heated until it melts, and then it's strained to remove any solids. No chemicals, no bleach, no deodorizers, just good old-fashioned heat and a strainer. In the end, what you get is a pure, natural fat that's perfect for cooking. And the best part? It's made without the need for a chemistry degree or a hazmat suit. On the other hand, lard requires minimal processing. It's as natural as it gets. I hear you asking, but doesn't lard have a high cholesterol content? Well, let's clear the air on this one. You see, the relationship between dietary cholesterol, that's cholesterol you consume in your food, and blood cholesterol levels isn't as straightforward as you might think. Here's a fact to chew on. The majority of the cholesterol in your body, around 80%, is produced by your own liver, regardless of what you eat. So, while it's true that lard does contain cholesterol, eating it won't necessarily send your blood cholesterol levels through the roof. But don't just take my word for it. Let's bring in some expert opinions. According to the American Heart Association, dietary cholesterol does not translate into high levels of blood cholesterol. The Dietary Guidelines Advisory Committee also removed their long-standing recommendation to limit dietary cholesterol. Why? Because the evidence just isn't there to support a strong link between dietary cholesterol and heart disease. Dr. Frank Hu, a professor of nutrition and epidemiology at the Harvard School of Public Health, further emphasizes this point. He says, it's a very small piece of the bigger picture. What's more, research is increasingly showing that the type of fat you eat is more important than the amount of cholesterol it contains. Saturated and trans fats, like those found in processed foods and some vegetable oils, have a much more significant impact on blood cholesterol levels than dietary cholesterol itself. So, the next time you reach for that tub of lard, remember that it's not the cholesterol boogeyman it's often made out to be. Sure, like anything, it should be consumed in moderation. But a little bit of lard in your cooking isn't going to send your cholesterol levels skyrocketing compared to health-destroying seed oils. So, lard's high cholesterol content? Not as scary as you might think. Now, what makes lard a superior choice for cooking? Well, let's get into the crux of this culinary conundrum. Lard, my friends, is like the superhero of fats, and it's about time we unmask its superpowers. First off, lard has a high smoke point. Now you might be wondering, what's a smoke point? Picture this, you're sizzling up a storm in your kitchen, and suddenly your oil starts smoking like a chimney. That's your oil hitting its smoke point. Here's the kicker. When oils hit their smoke point, they start breaking down and releasing free radicals. And those little buggers are no good for your health. Lard, on the other hand, has a high smoke point, making it a safer, more stable option for frying and sautéing. Next up, let's talk about the production process. Many cooking oils undergo a process that would make Frankenstein's monster look like a beauty queen. They're bleached, deodorized, and chemically altered, leaving you with a product that's far from natural. Lard, however, is made through a simple, natural process. It's just pig fat that's been rendered down. No scary science experiments here. Finally, lard boasts a balanced fat content. It has a good mix of saturated, monounsaturated, and polyunsaturated fats. Now I know the word fat might make some of you twitch, but hear me out. Our bodies need fat. It's essential for absorbing vitamins, protecting our organs, and even producing hormones. And lard provides a balanced mix of these essential fats, making it a healthier choice than oils loaded with omega-6 fatty acids. So, next time you're reaching for that bottle of vegetable oil, maybe give lard a second thought. You might be surprised by the benefits it offers. Remember, fats are not villains. Some, like lard, are just misunderstood superheroes waiting for their moment to shine. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.